Are we live? That is the question. Still tweaking some things. For whatever reason, it's always tricky to tell whether this is actually working. Let me know in chat if you guys are actually able to see this. I'll try and pull this up. You guys hear me? There's voice echo. That's fun. Let me check something. Camera's good. Okay, there's voice echo. I see. How about now? Is that better? All right, hopefully the echo, okay. Thank you, thank you everyone. Hold on one second, I just wanna get, I've got the Elgato prompter over here and I can't get my screen on it. So let me just get that running and then we'll get started. How's everybody doing today? I need to get you guys over here so I can actually see the chat. The joys of streaming on OBS versus StreamYard is I'm figuring out all the different ways that I can screw up the stream. So I appreciate everyone's patience while we get it all straight. Also, I need to close out of a million windows. I'm really curious and excited to see what this So everyone's thoughts. Oh, I got the prompter figured out. Okay. Let's just bear with me. All right, we should be back to normal. Can't hear you when you switch to overhead camera. Thank you. Thank you. We will fix that. Can you guys hear me now? Like I said, all the different ways I can screw this up. All right. Thanks for warning me, because yeah, that would have been fun. Okay, I'm gonna mess with the audio one more time. So just bear with me for one more second and then we'll get started. Can you hear me now? So that's on the main cam, and then we're gonna switch to the overhead. Make sure you guys can hear me on overhead. Okay. Can you hear me on the overhead camera? Give me a 2 in chat for overhead camera is good. Okay, perfect. And then for display, can you hear me when I'm on the display? So like if I need to show you something on a website, is that okay? Give me a 3 in chat if that works. Sweet, okay. And then Okay, so you guys are seeing my browser. Where the heck is my browser? Gotta kill off some stuff. Bear with me for a second. Got code here. I've got all kinds of crazy things. Let's get rid of some stuff and get organized. Okay. All right, what is weird is, are you guys still seeing my web browser? I don't even know where that's coming from. Let me see if I can tweak that. I assume that's what you guys are seeing. You guys are still seeing, oh, it says it's my laptop screen. Okay, hold on. Ah, okay. Do you get just my desktop now? So like if I were to open a website, hold on. Okay, so let me open a new, let's open a new Chrome. I don't want incognito Chrome. I just want, or actually this is Arc. Just want regular Arc. So if we go to google.com, what happens? All right, can you guys see that? You guys are getting my browser, I hope. Okay, I think we're good. I think we've just about gotten this figured out. Desktop orange gradient. You guys want to see something that I'm working on? How do we make it not ugly? Hold on, it's in dark mode. Get out of here, dark mode. This is something I'm working on, but we'll talk about this someday soon. Not yet. Okay, enough stalling. Let's actually do this. I think we've got all the tech stuff straight now. All right. And say hi one more time, and then let's go over here and let's go to top camera. I just need one more thing and then we're good. Just need a preview window so I can see what you guys see. On with the show. Agreed. Agreed. On with the show. I didn't mean to stall. It just got fun. Okay, let's do it. Could you check writing feel and build quality? Is it fragile like the Remarkable or sturdy like the Supernote? That's a good question. Okay, let's get into it. So one thing I know is there is a firmware update, or at least Boox tells me there's a firmware update that I need to do. So we're gonna open the box really quick, and then we're gonna start the firmware update, and then we'll take a look at the device itself while it's firmware updating. So first things first, that is the base box. I think we actually got the gray one this time. And get marker tips. I think that's the first time they've ever given marker tips in a separate box. Or at least that's the first time I know of it. Yeah, confirmed. We have the light one. This is gonna be the colored one, the brighter colored one. Okay, let's get into it so that we can start the firmware update. And I didn't grab an X-Acto knife yet. Bear with me for a second. The mark-free new feature sounds interesting. Allegedly, you can mark up system-wide. I know nothing about this, Lizzie, other than what's in their marketing materials. We'll take a look at that in a second. Okay. And I'm just going to leave the camera on manual focus this time and just optimize it for down here because last stream was a mess with focus. I really appreciate everyone who dealt with the terrible autofocus last stream. Thank you for that. I tried to get it straight with the remote today, but the remote didn't want to work. So for another stream, we will get that stuff figured out. So, and if I ever lose focus today, camera focus, I will probably lose focus mentally many times throughout the stream. But if we lose camera focus, let me know and I will fix it. Ooh, this is fun. Okay, yeah, let's get it open and get it booting so that we can start the firmware update. That's the biggest thing. I believe it went to Note Air 3. Oh, the FreeMark piece? Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to take a look at that. This is feels very familiar. Let's just say that. Hold on, let me get the focus straight. Bear with me for a second. Okay, hopefully that should be in focus. Let me know if it's not. Looks good to me from what I can tell. All right, let's boot it up. Oh, okay. This is, it looks so much like a Remarkable that I naturally wanted to turn it on where the Remarkable turns on, and that's not where you turn this one on. The button to turn it on is over here. So let's resist that urge and turn it on where it wants to be turned on. Or maybe it doesn't want to be turned on. Maybe I have to hold it for a moment. There we go. So how's everyone doing? What's your Tuesday look like? Sarah says, I had the Remarkable, but then the Boox Note Air 3 black and white, but then got the black and white and wondered if I need this instead since I missed the Remarkable but want the Boox features. Well, that is an interesting discussion. I mean, I understand the desire to want a remarkable form factor and a remarkable feeling, but have the features of the Boox, which it makes perfect sense. I mean, my first e-ink tablet was a Boox Note Air 2 Plus because I wanted a front light and I wanted the ability to run other apps. And so that's why I bought that device. And then I ended up reviewing the Remarkable more so just to see how it compared, because everyone would ask me like, hey, is the Boox Note Air 2 actually better than the Remarkable? And I couldn't really answer that without actually having used a Remarkable, so I bought a Remarkable. And long story short, I ended up really enjoying the Remarkable, and that's what I daily drive. So, okay, auto sleep after 30 minutes, power off. If I don't use it in 2 days, then we can power it off. Typical Boox gestures. I don't love e-ink center there, but let's just get to the firmware update and then we'll mess with the rest of the stuff in a minute. I'm the Classic asks, no front light. This device does not have a front light. I think they wanted it to be as close to a Remarkable as possible, and the Remarkable doesn't have a front light, and therefore this device doesn't have a front light. All right, let's get on the internet. I'm blind. Where is it? Networks. Wi-Fi. Lizzie says, I sold my Nova Air C to get this 10.3. Color not needed for me and more space for planning. I agree. I just got the Go Color 7, which is designed to be my Kindle Oasis replacement. And it has color, and I don't necessarily need color. I would rather it not have a Kaleido screen and just be a really crisp black and white 300 pixels per inch. And yeah, it is what it is. I actually like that device, but I would prefer it if it were purely black and white. All right, I'm logging into my Wi-Fi. That's why there's nothing on screen. Okay, we have internet now. Oh, there's that firmware update. I was wondering if we were gonna get it. So let's download that. Interestingly, the Go Color 7 changed pretty significantly before and after the firmware update. So pretty different. Let me go grab that device because it's on my bedside table because I've actually been using it. I could be completely wrong about this, but I feel like I'm reading tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. I feel like this device looked very different after the firmware update versus before the firmware update. So like a lot of the settings screens changed a little bit. Let's make sure there's not another firmware update for this. Yeah, this one's up to date. It still drives me nuts that you can't turn the store off. Like, what is the deal here? I don't understand that decision of like, why can't I simplify this? Like, if I don't want this and I don't want this, like, can I just move them? Like, why can't I just get rid of this and put it in here and like put it in a folder? I just like a minimalist setup and can't quite do that. But that said, Kindle app works great. And the Reader app works great. This device has plenty of power and feels pretty good. So the thing I'm really enjoying about this device is I can get up in the morning and read my news on it. Bear with it for a second. I can get up in the morning and read my news or look at the articles that I've set aside that I want to read. So like these are 2 articles that I need to read. And like my Kindle Oasis is a great book reading device, but this can do all of it. The color screen definitely like isn't quite as crisp as the Oasis, but being able to read everything I want to read is pretty nice. All right, let's see what chat says. No complaints about the Nova Air C, though. It's still a spectacular device for portability and web browsing. Hard to get a hold of on aftermarket. Yeah, I mean, all of those Boox devices, if you don't get them right when they come out, they're kind of hard to get. Okay, so this is updating. Let's take a look at the physical surroundings while it's doing that update. The first thing you'll notice, size-wise, feels exactly like a Remarkable. Size-wise. Feel-wise, though, different. So let's put these side by side. It is smaller. At least like bezel-wise, it's smaller. Screen-wise, looks identical. At least height-wise, it's identical. Width-wise, yeah, looks identical. So that's kind of cool. You get the same working space in a smaller form factor. If I were to get this in the Tab Mini C, can I view and edit notes on the Tab Mini C that I created on the Go 10.3? Yes, syncing works across those devices. With that said, unless you're dead set on writing on the Tab Mini C, I much prefer the Nova, or excuse me, I much prefer the Go Color 7 over the Tab Mini C. Tab Mini C is heavy, it's a little bit awkward, and the battery life isn't great. So if you don't absolutely need to write on it, I would probably prefer the Go Color 7. Okay, so smaller than Remarkable. That's kind of cool. That was unexpected. Like based on like the look in the ads, I didn't expect it to be smaller. I guess if I looked at the specs a little bit more closely, maybe I would have picked up on that. But yeah, smaller form factor. The biggest difference I notice when holding it is this back is very different. It's, how do I describe this? It's like a faux leather feeling, whereas the back of the Remarkable is this plastic. It's designed to feel like glass, but it's not glass, it's plastic. And so it's a very different feel. I'm not going to say one feels more premium than the other. I'm definitely used to the feel of the Remarkable, but this is like a soft touch back, which actually gives it a little bit of grip. It feels nice. I have no issue with the feel. I do worry though about this texture. Sorry, I don't have a great way to show it to you without changing the zoom. But this texture, it feels nice. It's a nice soft feel. But I do worry it could like pick up some dirt. Like if I were to spill something in this, like what is going to happen to it? Whereas the Remarkable, it just kind of wipes off because it's just a smooth, like rigid surface. Nothing can really go into this. There's nowhere for it to go. whereas this has all these little like nooks and crannies. Feels nice, but I do worry that it's going to get dirty. So like for instance, the folio on the Supernote A6X2 kind of has the same problem, which is it's leather and it's textured and it's easy for dirt to get in there. And I don't mind like a little patina over time. Like I actually really enjoy that. But if you're someone who it looking a little dirty is going to bother you, that could be a little bit of a problem. All right. Lizzie said, I appreciate smaller bezels without sacrificing screen real estate. Also, it's almost symmetrical. Not a fan of the fat side of a lot of note takers. Yeah, it's cool. Like it's really cool that they were. Excuse me. It's really cool that they were able to fit this into a smaller form factor. I'm also really curious to see how the screen crispness looks side by side. Is the Go 10.3 screen whiter than the Note Air 3 black and white? I don't have a Note Air 3 black and white. But that didn't use a Kaleido screen, so I assume the brightness is going to be the same. Fact check me on that with some other people, but I would think the brightness of the screens would match between this and the Note Air 3 black and white. This is definitely going to be brighter than the Note Air 3 color because that has a Kaleido screen, but I think it's going to be identical to the Note Air 3 black and white, if I were to guess. Just got here. What kind of texture does the screen have? To my fingers, it feels very similar to the Remarkable, but we'll throw a stylus on it here in a second. It appears that both are equally white. Yeah, from what I can tell, they look identical screen-wise, screen brightness-wise. This one is 300 pixels per inch per specs. We'll have to really take a look at it here in a second to see if that matters. But according to specs, this should be a sharper display when we get in there and actually start writing. And unless I'm mistaken, this is probably the first 300 pixel per inch, 10.3 inch screen since the Kindle Scribe, which Amazon had exclusivity on that screen, if rumors are correct. And so this is the first device to also get that screen. Again, fact check me on that, but that's my understanding. And so maybe we'll see a bunch more devices with a 300 pixel per inch black and white screen here soon, which would be really cool. Same question as Roman. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we got that one. My Tab Ultra C always feels bulky in my hands. I've ordered the Go 10.3. How different will it feel? Very different. This is a much lighter device. Hold on, let me go grab a Tab Ultra. Tab Ultra, well, so I assume if you have a Tab Ultra, you probably have a folio for it because it's kind of a big part of like why you grab a Tab Ultra. But yeah, these devices feel very, very different. Hold on, let's get the Remarkable out of here for a moment. So the 10.3 is bigger. So height-wise, it's bigger. And width-wise, it's the same. But thickness-wise, very, very different. Let's see if I have a good way to show that to you. It's probably half the thickness. And when you're writing, I find that that matters a lot because it means your hand isn't hovering versus one of the biggest challenges I had with the Tab Ultra is it always felt like my hand wasn't on the table. And that, one, is awkward, and two, is just exhausting over time. So the thinner you can make these, the better from a pure writing enjoyment perspective. Also, the screen texture is going to be very different. So the Tab Ultra really doesn't have a coating to make it feel like paper, whereas this one should. Again, we'll get a pen on it in a second and see this. Is that a Remarkable 2? I don't know much about them, pixels per inch, etc. But I used one my friend brought to choir and noticed a roughness to the writing that looked like a lack of anti-aliasing. Yes. So you will notice that with the Remarkable. Let me pull up a document. Okay, so that is restarting. Let's pull my Remarkable up. So here is the remarkable. Oh, I put it to sleep on accident. There we go. So that's the screen quality. Here, I'm going to take this off of manual focus for a second just to give you a close-up because that's helpful. All right, so if we were to pull this up tight, yes, there is some anti-aliasing. Also, it's a 227 pixel per inch screen. So at a certain point, you're going to feel a little bit of that. So that's the remarkable. One thing to note, I think pen choice matters a lot, or tool choice matters a lot on the remarkable. When I first used it, I used the fine liner, and I absolutely hated the look of the fine liner. Let me see if I can give you an example. And again, this is just my own personal preference, but I found that I didn't like the look of the fine liner. I felt like you see more of that lack of anti-aliasing. Whereas if you use the ballpoint pen, I feel like it feels significantly more natural. All right, is the USB connector better on the side or the bottom? Good question. I feel like for me personally, I think I'd rather have it. Well, okay, sorry. Let's clarify. I think your question is the power better in the middle or on the side? I would argue it's probably better on the side because it can be more out of the way versus right in the middle of your desk. And especially if you run it landscape, like I do, it's really nice that it's at the top because then the cable can be up here and off of the desk. With that said, I don't run it plugged in very often. It's actually something that happens to me every time I go out in public is I don't ever charge it. And so it's always out of battery whenever I actually do go out in public. And so I don't think it's a big difference to have it here, to have it there versus here. But I think if I could pick, I'd probably pick right there. Can you show the size difference with a Note Air 3? Yeah, no problem. I got you, Trisha. Bear with me for a second. So I'm going to leave autofocus on for a second. Just don't let me forget to turn it off. All right, this is a Note Air 3C. All right, size-wise, this one's a little bit taller. Thickness-wise, new one is significantly thinner because you don't have a front light. So if you don't need the front light, nice savings in thickness. And that thickness you do feel in the hand. This device feels significantly thicker and a good bit heavier, whereas this feels like a remarkable. For better or for worse, it feels identical size-wise to a remarkable. The big difference you're going to notice between the Note Air 3C and this is going to be the screen. Because you don't have the Kaleido on here, but I find that that's an improvement. Let's go ahead and pull up notes. I'm blind. There are notes. I don't want to log in yet. Let's go grid point. Yes, I know. I have a firmware update. Oh, that's a text document. Bear with me for a moment. I have no idea what's in these notepads. Oh, the UI is different. This is cool. This is a change. I do need to set it up for the fact that I'm a lefty, so bear with me for a second. Oh, I guess my handedness is probably in notes. I predict that third-party cases are going to be a nightmare. All right. Oh, you're very welcome, Sarah Ann. Okay, where's my handedness going to be? All right, let's calibrate. Oh, let's get this other device away from it since we're going to be calibrating. Oh, I missed. Hold on. No. All right, well, we'll just have to redo it because I most definitely didn't hit it in the correct spot. This is really hard to do without putting my head on in the camera. Bear with me for a second. All right, it's calibrated now. Introverted salesman asks, so unrelated, is that a leather desk pad? Yes, it is. And this one, yes, I quite like it. But do note that it does pick up stains and things like that. And I kind of like that sort of thing. But if it's going to drive you nuts, then don't get one. But yeah, like it picks up oils and waters, and like, I don't eat at my desk. Let's say that. I don't eat at my desk because if I did, it would look even crazier. All right, is there a visible shadow on the screen edges without color or lighting layer? It should be almost flush. Here, I'll let you decide for yourself. Let me see if I can get it to you where it doesn't shade. I don't know if that qualifies as a shadow for you, but I don't know. It doesn't feel bad to me in that regard. Can't wait to hear how the screens compare with writing since they should be the same from what I hear. Theoretically, this one should be better because it's 300 pixels per inch, but we'll see in a second. As soon as I can figure out handedness, I think it's going to be in the Notes app, but let's go in there. I haven't messed with this in a moment. Options. Shouldn't have to do that. Already did that. Show trace erase. All right, wasn't any of those. I think actually it's in the notebook itself, which is a bit confusing, but I think that's where it is. I think I go here. No, it's not here. All right, I need help, chat. Remind me where to change my handedness on this. Is it possible to tap and hold on the sidebar and then drag it to the other edge? I don't think so. I think they want you to do it a different way. I'm trying to tap to undo, knowing that the Boox won't do that. All right, let me set this to manual focus so it doesn't jump focus on you a bunch. Is it actually focused? That is the question. I think so. Nizoni says, I really appreciate your videos. I'm a lefty too, and it makes a difference being able to see someone with the same primary hand use the layout. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the awesome things about e-ink is I can now write and I don't have to worry about smearing anything, which is really nice. At the bottom left, it says more. Yeah, I tapped on that. So I can remove things here, or I can add things here. I can change its position, which someone was asking about. Although Yeah, let's put that in there. Let's see what happens. More position. So that'll jump it to the other side. But I still feel like there's a handedness option somewhere that I'm just missing. You can have up to 500 pages. Oh, these are thumbnails. That's interesting. Go away. Okay, that's how I get rid of that. And then there is a full screen with a floating toolbar, which is pretty nice. Do you want to expand the floating toolbar? If collapsed, you can expand it by swiping inward. Sure, that's fine. And then now I should, I think I have to do it with my hand. Now I can move this to where I want it, which this is cool. Like I like the ability to be able to move this to like the bottom right-hand corner. Also, I hate that they have navball on by default. Get out of here. Turn off navball. Leave. All right, that's pretty cool. So I can, this is very minimalist for the Boox device. This is really, really minimalist. This is cool. I want to be able to tap to undo. That's going to be the big problem. All right. And then if we want to come out of here, am I going to have to look this up? I don't think it's in here because it only affects the Notes app. I don't want to log in yet. We already checked gestures. It's not in gestures. Language and input. These are all normal. What is in detailed mode? I don't love that. Get rid of here. Oh, list mode. So there's 3 modes now. Maybe those were always there and I just never noticed them. Can you set gestures so that you can tap to undo? Not that I know of, but if you could, that would be cool. So hold on. Control touch input such as tapping, swiping, edge gestures to reduce conflicts. Okay. Click and long press. All right. Use one finger to tap or hold a press. Interesting choice of grammar. Slide to drag the page. Pinch to zoom. Yeah, I don't want to do that. System bar gestures by swiping down. Yeah. And then you get to the bottom gestures. And then a side gesture. Yeah, none of these gestures are the gestures that I want. I want an undo gesture. As far as I know, that's not a thing. Can export different file formats. Oh, this is a new share screen. Interesting. This is very big. All right, let's go back. We have AI, we have lasso, text, fill. The tooling here is good. There are a lot of options here as far as things you can do. There's a button mapper for custom gestures. That'd be interesting if you could do like a button mapper to be able to tap that button. That could work. I could get on board with that. All right, I think I'm gonna have to give up on figuring out the handedness. Maybe it's not a thing anymore. Maybe it never was a thing and I'm just imagining all of this. Yep. All right. Let's get to the actual writing. Go full screen. This dot grid feels pretty decent. It could be bigger. Like, I wish the dot grid was this wider dot and smaller dot. I mean, the good news is with the Boox, you can put any template you want on it, but the default one is a little iffy. So let's see. Does it palm reject? Yes, it does. All right, let's go write something. I love the anti-aliasing kicking in on the Boox. I kind of forgot about that. So like the way the Boox works is it writes a rough stroke. What did I just do? Oh, I must actually be on the second page and didn't realize it. So, oh, I can go up and down now. Hold on. Oh, it's changing pages. Okay, so it still doesn't do scrolling, at least not without changing your page size. But when you do a gesture like that, it's actually taking you to the next page, which I didn't really pick up on in real time. But yeah, that's what's happening there. So, all right, let's go back to full screen. So the text by default is a little thin, but I can tweak that. Here, let's give you a close-up. Looks pretty darn good. I think that looks pretty good. Here, let me give you a remarkable comparison. Here, let's erase the fine liner because I hate the fine liner. What did I do? All right, here's your close-up. .300 pixels per inch plus anti-aliasing makes a noticeable difference. All right, let's do some more writing. Sorry for the wobble. All right, let's see if we can get a slightly thicker pen because it's a little thin for my personal preference. 4 is probably too big, but let's give that a go. Slightly too big. I think 3 is going to be the sweet spot for me. Lack of undo gesture, though. I'm going to miss that. See, that's annoying. Why can I do that? I don't want that. Hold on. I have gestures turned off. Why is that possible? Here, turn all of them off. I don't want any of them. Oh, okay, cool. So you can turn that off. Sweet. It looks really good. It looks really, really good. I mean, the big thing. All right, so let's call it what it is. Boox's anti-aliasing has always been really good. So like something that they do is as you write, it gets a rough initial stroke. And then if you wait, you'll see it refresh with anti-aliasing. Will we see it? We saw it earlier. No, see a little flash? And it looks so much better after this. Like, it's so crisp and clear. And I swear they do something with your strokes, but this looks good. This feels like my typical handwriting. I love this. This is great. And 300 pixels per inch does matter. Like, this feels better. This is clearer. This feels more like paper from a looking at it perspective. It looks more like a physical stroke in the real world than like something like this does. Like, you see how on this curved line right here, that anti-aliasing, that breaks the illusion that this is real. With that said, when I'm actually writing, do I notice it? Not as much. It's after the fact that I notice that. The big question is going to be, can Boox make this a distraction-free environment? Like, can I get where I can undo gesture with 2 fingers tapping? Like, I should be able to go undo. Or maybe like if I drag with 3 fingers, let me undo. Like, give me some way to do it where I don't have to go find a button. Like, this is a tiny button. To stop what I'm doing, I have to go find it. Like, it's stressful to hit the right space. Like, make this a thought-free exercise to get back on track. Trisha asked, does it feel textured when you write? Slightly. It's not a crazy amount. But if you ever used Remarkable, I think it feels similarly. Hold on. The Remarkable maybe has like slightly more texture, but it's not a significant change where you should pick one or the other based on that. We're talking really, really subtle differences here. Like, so much so that when I write, I think I'm on a Remarkable and I naturally do the undo gesture and it doesn't work. So it feels close enough to the Remarkable that my body thinks I'm on a Remarkable. What pen are you using? Oh, this is my frankincense pen. Here, I'll there's a story here. So I purchased this. I purchased the Pilot Dr. Grip Digital, which I bought it because I was using the Supernote A6X2 Click pen, and I really enjoyed it. My wife has it at the moment. And I love the Click, and I love that I can travel with that pen and never have to worry about it, the nib getting broken. I can just throw it in my pocket. It's great. And I saw that this pen exists, which is a Pilot pen, and it has that same click action. But you'll notice that this one doesn't look like the box. And that's because the one that comes in the box looks like this. But I liked the pen, but this just wasn't for me style-wise. Like, I didn't like that it didn't have the little clip. And I didn't like this clear and blue and white junk. So turns out this is a standard pen that they make, and they just put an EMR refill in it. So I bought the Dr. Grip Full Black regular ballpoint pen, and then I just swapped out the innards. So this is the EMR innards in the full black outer, and I quite enjoy it. Yeah, it's quite lovely. It has a nice semi-rigid tip that I really enjoy the feel for. And interestingly enough, this pen tip will fit in the Kaweco, which is the other stylus that I really like. And so that was like a fun little learning. So anyway, the Pilot Dr. Grip, I've been using it for like a week and a half, and I really like it. And now I also have a regular writing version that I can use from time to time. I I found the best way to erase is the Scribble AI option. Justin, tell me more. How are the nibs of the Pilot compared to the Lamy or the Kaweco default nibs? The Kaweco default nibs are much more flexible. This feels like a wet ink writing feel, like there's a lot of give. And the Pilot is much more rigid. It's kind of similar to the Lamy or the Lamy palm tip, I believe, where it's like a bit rigid, which I didn't like it on the palm tip because it wasn't sharp, but I keep doing the undo gesture and it doesn't work. But this one is much more rigid. Here, I'll see if I can get you the sound. Can you hear the difference? Let's see. So that's with the Pilot Dr. Grip default nibs, and then this will be the Kaweco. So you don't hear it nearly as much. And it's a little bit more, I would say the word is fluid, but I don't know if that's true. But it feels more like an ink pen, like a wet ink pen, like a gel pen almost, versus this feels more like a ballpoint pen. It's a little bit harder. How effective is the Boox at organizing notes, considering as my primary note device at work? Spooky, I think it's a tough question to answer, which is it's going to depend on what you mean by organizing. You can have notebooks, you can have multiple pages, you can move pages around. If you need something much beyond that, you might be in trouble. So, like, this is what you can do. These are the different pages. I want to say you can, how do I move them? Bear with me for a second. I know you can move them. Question is, oh, I think it's this ... now. How do I move this page? I know you can do it. How you do it is a good question. Chad, if anyone knows the answer, feel free to chime in. I don't remember off the top of my head. I would think you could do it in here, but I'm not seeing it. I'm not getting a gesture to move it. I know on the Note Air 2, I've definitely moved pages before. Hold on. Yeah, see, the UI is different on the Note Air 3. So like here, you would just tap on the pages and you would do move right. Can I just... So I can hit move here. So you can move it to a specific page number. Which, it's a little clunky, but it works. The question is, why can't I do that on this device? I don't know the answer to that. But anyway, that's sort of the comparison. Weirdly, I don't see it. Which I don't know if that's like just an oversight or like if the software is not there yet. I don't know. I don't have the answer to that one. Justin says, I'm coming from the Remarkable 2. The Go arrived Tuesday. I prefer the Remarkable's UI, but I think the Boox features are converting me. Handwriting search is a killer feature. Yes, handwriting search is really nice and sorely lacking on the Remarkable. It should definitely be there. They've really been dragging their feet on that one. So if you expand the toolbar in Notepad, one of the options is AI. Turning that on allows you to do certain commands with pen gestures, scribble to erase. Okay, let's do it. Let's go explore. Let me get this out of here and lock focus. We'll go on that adventure. All right. Should be a manual focus. Smart Shapes is another brilliant feature. Gabriel, I was just talking about the pen. So this is the Pilot Dr. Grip, but it's a Frankenstein's monster version, because the one that they sell looks like this. And I didn't love that look, so I bought. They make an all black one, and I swapped out the innards, and now I really like that. That's a look that I can get on board with. Curious how it compares to Supernote for note organization if you've used both. Supernote has better note organization. There's no getting around it. The Supernote is the best when it comes to note organization. So again, I would love to hear what you mean by note organization, but the Supernote has a lot of really good tools to create tables of contents on the fly, to create links between different pages. You've got a lot of control if that is really useful to you. So Reductor, hopefully I got your name correct, is split screen possible? I didn't know that. That could be a game changer. I know the other Boox devices have split screen. Oh, hold on. When I turned off the bottom gesture, I think I want bottom gestures on. I should be able to leave. Okay, so if I turn this on, can you split screen? Yes, you can split screen. Split screen's right there. So AI Assistant, I don't think this is the one y'all were talking about. Oh, here's FreeMark. All right, what the heck does FreeMark do? So use the app name as the save path, supports modifying the path. Okay. Is this just like a screenshot mode? In Mark mode, only note-taking tools are supported. If you need to operate the app, switch to app mode. Okay. In Mark mode, some apps that support page flipping keys can automatically save handwriting and turn. Okay. In Mark mode, if switching to another app, it will automatically save and exit FreeMark. Your reader notes, gallery, blah, 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 do not support FreeMark. That would make sense. All right, let's just save a random thing. Okay, so it's like screenshot annotation, but live. So can I, okay, so I can't tap or anything now, but I'm effectively taking a screenshot and marking it up at the same time. That's a very thin pen. Can I tweak this? So if I'm marking something up, probably do something like that. What are my options in here? View, scribble. Okay, so by default, I'm saving it to pictures and Onyx. This could be handy. This is really interesting. So let's, can I erase? Okay, typical erase, that feels good. I don't love this pen, but it's my fault. I chose it. Let's pick a 5 or 6. Maybe a dark gray. It's so thin. This is cool. So theoretically, you just be in an app and FreeMark on it and save a screenshot. That potentially is really cool. Scribble erase beats tapping for me. All right, I'm gonna have to see this here in a second. How usable is it for web browsing? I don't know. We'll see in a second. I don't know what this button does. What did I just do? Okay, I went to app mode, so I can tweak stuff now. Okay. And so I'm pretty sure it's saved when I did that. So I can write on that. I can draw on that. Do this. Do that. Theoretically, I can have some colors. I'll save it. All right, it's saved. Let's get out of here. So that's nifty. You can get there just by pulling down from any app and just say, I want a FreeMark on this. I mean, I assume that's kind of like screenshot, but you now get the ability to write on it, whereas you couldn't write on the screenshot before. So that's kind of nice. That's got a lot of utility. All right, so so that went to images. Yeah, and I got one for each time that I toggled between app mode and mark mode. Opens a Neo reader. Yeah. Oh, crosswords. That's a great idea. Yeah, crosswords, Sudoku. How do I say this word? That thing, the thing with numbers. It would be really good for that. It's pretty nifty. All right, let's get out of here. All right, I gotta see this AI thing. So if we go in here and we turn on AI. Okay, so we get smart shapes. If you pause, good. That sounds good. Scribble erase. Erase the strokes in the smeared area. Pen does not support, marker pen does not support this function. Okay. And you can lasso. All right. You have my curiosity. I want lasso. I don't want turn on shape. Whatever. Let's do it. And I don't want text recognition. Yeah, get out of here. I don't want that. All right, let's see it. Let's see if this works. So take me back to where I was. What happened to my page? Here's my page. All right, good. I think if you care about the writing experience a lot, Supernote is one of the best right now. There was another video I saw where it had the best pen latency. Yeah, I mean, the Boox has more latency, but I think the trade-off is the strokes look more natural. I think they're doing some sort of adjustments to it, and that I don't know that I feel it latency-wise much, but the look of it is really good. They said the A6X is really small. Yeah, I wouldn't do PDF viewing on the A6X2. It's too small, but when the A5X2 comes out, that could work. All right, let's check out this AI bit. So if I want to circle this, that's cool. That's pretty nifty. So, but what happens if I just want to draw a circle? Okay. And if I want to scribble through the circle, all right, I could get on board with this. So hold on, how much scribbling do I need to do to get rid of it? This is interesting. All right, chat. That's pretty interesting. That might work. But like, all right, so let's say I'm drawing a square poorly. All right, I can't adjust it. So what I get is what I get. Now, if I no longer want the square, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Sarah Ann asks, is FreeMark available on the other Boox devices? I don't think so. Not yet, at least. Hold on. My Note Air 3 needs a firmware update. Hold on. Let me try that real quick. Just throw it in the background. And then I know someone asked about web browsing. We'll go do web browsing and then probably should wrap up here in a minute. Does anyone have any other questions before we wrap up? All right, I will try to update that. Can you cut and paste or lasso text to move it? Yeah. Yes. So if I circle that, it's now lassoed, and now I can move it, or I could cut it, and I could paste it. Or, hold on. Yeah, there's your paste. That's pretty nice. This AI bit is pretty slick. Pretty impressive. I like that a lot. So hold on, if I circle this, I can do linking. That looks good. Do tagging. That's gonna do the text conversion. Is this the color? Okay. Cut, copy, paste. What is this? Is this background color? Oh, that's select all. Okay. Can flip it. Can flip it the other direction. Can change pages. Yeah, this is cool. The undo is interesting. I'm curious to see if I end up with false positives, but so far, oh, hold on. That was interesting. I need to make sure I really go through all of it. But theoretically, you could have no tools if that's how you're doing it, which is kind of cool. So like the other piece here is I want a highlighter. Let's go lemon. Oh, that needs to be much bigger. So here's a scenario where undo would be really helpful, but that's okay. Like that's not going to be incredibly common. So let's try like 60. It's pretty clean. It's pretty clean. All right, so Sarah Ann asks, how do you feel about it? I think it's interesting. I think it's really interesting. All right, yeah, let's come to some initial conclusion. Build quality, and here, let's turn autofocus off. Build quality wise, feels like remarkable. The back is different feel. Oh, I didn't get to do this earlier. Here's the texture up close. It's got like a little metal. I don't know if it's actually metal. It's designed to look like metal, but yeah, there's a little piece that runs down the edge, and then this is the texture. It's a very like soft feel. Here's what it sounds like. It feels like a remarkable. So if you like a remarkable, you want that remarkable form factor, you don't need a front light. This is really interesting, especially if you want to run other apps. So if you're willing to trade a little bit of focus, this is really interesting. I haven't tried a keyboard with it yet. Hold on. I can't see a scenario where the keyboard doesn't work with this. Hold on. Do I have a USB-C cable? So if I go into notes and I say, I want a text notepad though. So text, blank. Hold on, where's my accelerometer? Hold on. I want auto rotate. This is also something the Remarkable can't do, is you can't do auto rotate. Okay, so turn it. I somehow created a writing notebook. I don't need this. Delete. Yeah, I know. Create notepad. Text. Blank. All right, now if I plug my Text notes do not support sync to version 3.3 and earlier. Okay, that's no big deal. All right, so the question is, if I plug in a keyboard, how does it feel? And does it work? Hold on, what the heck did I just do? USB Type-C interface is in use, which will result in continuous power consumption. Please charge. Okay, sure. What the heck? Something weird going on with my shift key. Shift key's not working, but that's probably on my end. I'll have to tweak that. But anytime I try and shift and create a character, it doesn't do it. But that's interesting. But we would need to tweak E-Ink Center if we wanted to optimize it for type, because that didn't feel good. Let's see, if I go in here, I don't love changing this universally. So speed mode, slight ghosting, A2 heavier ghosting. Yeah, let's try heavier ghosting. Yes. Again, I gotta figure out what that shift thing is, but that feels pretty good. Let me grab a different keyboard. Case is aluminum, back is PU plastic. Yes, that sounds correct with what I'm feeling. I don't know if this cable is going to reach, but let's try it. Now I just need like a little stand. Oh, we didn't get into the cover yet. All right, hold on. We may not be wrapping up just yet. There's a lot of stuff I haven't gotten into yet. All right, I don't want the on-screen keyboard. Get out of here, on-screen keyboard. Yeah, there is something wrong in the firmware. I can't do shifted characters. But theoretically, this is useful, but not in its current state. Yeah, in its current state doesn't work, but theoretically this is all firmware fixable, but you should not buy a device based on what it could be. You should buy a device based on what it is. Hardware wise, this will work. Whether Boox will fix this, I don't know, that's another question. Theoretically though, another Android app should work. So if you, let's see. Let's just go to a browser. Hey chat, what's a good writing app that doesn't require a login on a web browser? Here we go. Online notepad. My keyboard fell. Feels bad. All right. Do I still have? Shifted keys still don't work. very odd. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is, but shifted keys do not work. They work, or did I try to write a shifted key? It's so bizarre. I don't understand why it's doing that. Play type racer on it. Hold on, don't tempt me with a good time. Hold on. All right. Y'all are a bad influence. Hold on. Again, as long as they don't make me do uppercase characters, we're okay. The second we have uppercase characters, we're done for. Probably impossible without a functioning shift. Yes. Without a shift, we are done. Also, pretty sure I'm pressing enter. And enter also doesn't work. This is potentially interesting for Obsidian. Assuming you can deal with mobile Obsidian, which I don't love mobile Obsidian, but theoretically works. How do we get not dark mode? Dark mode is not going to work. How do we opt out of dark mode on here? All right, monkey type may not be the answer. $60 seconds feels a little long, but let's give it a go. Can I do it without easy text? Can I get rid of? All right, this is silly, but we're gonna do it anyway. Oh no, I need uppercase characters. This is not gonna work. Yeah. All right. Yep, typing on it, not recommended at the moment at least. I would assume they're gonna fix that with firmware, but at least as of right this moment, not really behaving the way you would expect it to. No, Saleo Ram says no glow or backlight. No backlight on this one. This one's exactly like the Remarkable. All right, let's check out the cover. Also, I assume there's a pen in here that we haven't opened either. Try function key shift in case your keyboard has function lock. I tried 2 different keyboards. I can try it, but it doesn't feel like a keyboard issue. Oh, we get matching power cable. USB-C. So it's white. And then for the first time, we get a white and gray, or at least the first time I'm aware of, we get a white and gray Boox pen. Again, not the Pro pen, but the regular pen. No eraser here. But based on what I saw with the AI, maybe you don't need an eraser. Kind of interesting. Let's see how this feels. I assume it's going to feel just like the traditional Boox pen. Note that landscape mode does some quirky stuff. Again, this is kind of some of the Boox writing app stuff is, I don't really have fluid page sizes, so it's always kind of the same. So it's still doing this portrait orientation, and you would just scroll through it, which I think I have that gesture turned off. I need that. I would assume that's what will get me. Yeah, that'll get me what I want. If I create a new page. Yeah, still not the right size. Okay, let's take a look. AI stuff's pretty good. Let's get out of speed mode though. I don't want speed mode. Oh, I can't get to it. Hold on. So we're gonna have to turn that gesture on. We need system bar gestures. We need ink. Go back to normal mode. Get rid of that. It's a handful of steps, but it's not particularly hard. It makes me nervous when you put stuff like boxes, pens on top of the screen. They hold up well. I'm not worried about it. These things are not that temperamental. Like my Remarkable goes with me everywhere I go, and I'm not worried about it. It's not going to have any trouble as I proceed to break it. No, I'm just kidding. It's fine. Any idea how brighter the panel is compared to Palma or the Hisense A9? Well, you're in luck. There's a Palma right there. So there's a Palma. Screens look similar, brightness-wise to me. Boox Pro Pen, or sorry, not Boox Pro Pen. Boox Pen. Feels good. Typical Boox setup. Nib is the same. If you've ever used a Boox device, feels exactly like that, but in a different color. Oh, okay. If I go full screen, it does zoom in. The AI eraser is pretty cool. Pretty cool. I wish they had a hide interface like Remarkable 2. This is pretty good. I mean, this is pretty... Oh, there's your hide interface. I mean, that's pretty well hidden. I can't really complain about that. How much of the storage is free after the OS and any pre-installed software? I want to know if 64 gigs will be enough, or if I need to just get the Air 3 black and white. Good question. Let's go take a look. I think storage is its own app. 48 gigs after OS. 48 useful gigs. DeWand, I would, but I don't. My Supernote, my wife has my Supernote, so I can't just go grab it at the moment. But writing feel wise, the Supernote is going to feel more like a pad of paper and a gel pen, whereas this, depending on your stylus, is going to feel more like pencil and paper. And then UI-wise, on the Boox, you can kind of create whatever you want look-wise, but on the Supernote, you have a little bit, well, I don't know, they've added linking here. I don't know that the functionality is all that different now. I guess one thing I will say is Supernote was the first to do the linking and the tagging between pages and to create like tables of contents. I think Boox has since added a lot of that stuff, but I do think you kind of have to give credit to Supernote for doing a lot of that stuff first and pushing things forward. With that said, the AI stuff in this from Boox, I haven't seen anyone else do that, so give Boox credit for that. All right, Justin asks, You can also make, or mentions, you can also make that indicator hide so you only show the background and the writing. Hold on, how do you make this go away? I forgot how to do it. Justin, how do I do it? Am I missing something? So I do this. I don't think I can move it. If I move it to this side, yeah, it'll dock to that side if I move it to that side. It's in settings somewhere. Okay. For another day, we will do that. You'll need to poke around in the more toolbar settings. Well, let's go do it. I'm having fun. If you guys are having fun, we can do this a little while longer. Oh, I went out. That's not where I wanted to go. Here. Options. Stylus calibration. Autosave. Yeah, so this is the automatically refresh. That's the anti-aliasing bit. Tag management. It's not in there. I could be wrong, but I feel like not all the settings are here yet. Maybe this is just part of being early, but I feel like there used to be more options that I'm not seeing. Here, I think the Node Air 3, it needs to be plugged in. I was gonna load up the Node Air 3 and see if we could find it in there, but it doesn't. It's not gonna finish this firmware update. Oh, hold on. It looks like it's okay. Let's try this. Go back to notes. Yeah, I know. So this just customizes the toolbar. Okay, here we go. Show indicator when the toolbar is collapsed. Call it out by swiping left to right. So here, if we turn that off, then we can do it. And yeah, I would pull. Yeah, that feels familiar. Do I have that same setting over here? Yes, I do. I'm just slow. That's better. This is beautifully minimalist. This is really nice. Carlos asks, please compare the battery life between this and the Boox Node Air 3 black and white. I'm in doubt about which to buy. I don't have a Boox Node Air 3 black and white, unfortunately. So as much as I'd love to answer your question, I don't know that I can. But the big difference is going to be the front light or not. If you need the front light, then go with the Node Air 3 black and white. If you don't need the front light, this is a really nice device. Like, there's very small distance between where your pen tip is and where the screen is. So that feels really good. And it's nice and thin. And so if you don't need the front light, I would go with this. You get 300 pixels per inch on this one, whereas you're going to get 227, if I'm not mistaken, on the Node Air 3 black and white. If you don't need the front light, this is the one to go with, in my opinion. Wish they used Carta 1300 for this. Snoopy, what's the difference between the Carta 1200 and the Carta 1300? I don't know off the top of my head. Can it handle different Node apps? Waffle Bears, you can use other Node apps, but they kind of have to integrate with the Boox API for it to be a good writing experience. So you can't just grab any note app and it would work. From a writing perspective, if you're talking about typing, then yeah, you could use any typing app, assuming they fix whatever bug is preventing pressing shifted keys. Okay, so Snoopy says, theoretically, it's 25% faster and 30% better contrast. That would be cool. I would love to see it. I haven't played with the Carta 1300 device. I mean, this feels pretty good. As far as like emulating real paper, feels pretty decent to me. And yeah, that AI erase, pretty good. Really, really good. If we could just get scrolling paper, I think I wouldn't have many complaints left at that point. But 300 pixels per inch on this is really, really nice. All right, we should do the cover. Oh. Interesting. That piece is separate. Oh. Hold on, can I stand this up? So hold on. Okay. You don't really need this piece. This piece is pretty optional. I guess it's really just to hold your stylus in if you want it. There's not like a spot that it locks per se. Yeah. I mean, aside from it holding my stylus in here, I don't know that I love that this is separate. Although I guess it doesn't get in your way if you're going to use it for other stuff. Does the pen adhere well? This is always my complaint with Boox devices is, does the stylus stay? No, it does not. Yeah, so hold on. If pen tip is up, doesn't stay. If the pen tip is down, doesn't stay. So pretty typical for a Boox device is just they don't ever put quite enough magnet right there for the pen to stay. So just note that it's not going to have the strongest connection there. It's pretty. I'm still not sure about this thing, but this part feels pretty good. I guess they wanted people to have the option of whether to use that thing or not. I think I would probably use it without, but that's just me. Does this have dark mode in Neo Reader like the Ghost 7? Assuming it isn't in Notes 2. I don't know. We'll have to go look. I hope Remarkable didn't trademark the world's thinnest tablet. The Kobo Clara Black and White has a Carta 1300. Sounds like it's not that much difference in practice. DoveDev says this thing is cheaply made. I'm curious what leads you to that. I mean, aside from like this decision, this just seems like they didn't want to make a strong opinion about this. Everything I've felt so far seems pretty good. I mean, the Boox software could always be better, but hardware-wise, I don't have many complaints with this device. Can you review the reading experience with PDFs and regular ebooks? It should be the same as the other Boox devices, but I can take a look. Do the magnets interfere with writing when inside the folio? That is a great question. That is a great question. So let's go landscape, because that's my, oh, hold on. Does auto rotate turn off when, hold on. What happened to my auto rotate? Can I not auto rotate when, no, I can. I don't know why I didn't do it a second ago. Where is my previous page? It's the only thing with this is when you have all the tooling turn off, you can't find which page. All right, let's get rid of this blank page. Oh, if I open this up, do I get the move tools? Yes. Oh, I wasn't trying to go into that. I was just trying to pick it. Okay, so that's the part we didn't realize earlier, is you have to go into full screen mode if you want to move or delete a page. But at that point, it's all the same UI. Full screen, get rid of this. Go landscape. All right, there's landscape. Can I scrub? No, you have to flick. Feels pretty good to me. I'm not seeing any magnet issues. Would I use this over an iPad M4 for note writing? Oh, yeah, dev about the pen magnet. Yes, that part doesn't seem well executed. I guess I'm a little desensitized to that because every Boox device I've ever had has always been that way. So I was kind of expecting that, but you're right. It should be better. Would I use this over an iPad M4 for note writing? If it's just note writing, then I would use this. If I'm trying to do a lot of other things, then the iPad. But if you want the best writing experience or you do a lot of writing, then this or a Remarkable or a Supernote are head and shoulders above an iPad, including the new iPads, which I think are pretty cool. I think the nano texture does make a difference, but it's still not at this level and still not close. So yeah, I'm not seeing issues with the magnets. Let's see how close it can go to the edge, because that's always a tricky thing, is like how accurate is it towards the edges? Like this is something that Remarkable kind of struggles with typically. I don't see any major concerns there. I don't think you're going to be able to AI scribble erase that, but I stand corrected. You can AI scribble erase that. Well, I can do one of them apparently. Worked the first time. Scribble erase is really cool. Can't do it on this one edge though. Yeah, that one's going to require actually pulling out an eraser of some kind. Do I have a stylus with an eraser over here? I do. What is the glare like compared to the Remarkable? They look the same to me. Yeah, pretty identical. Can you tell if there are any different note templates? Nizoni, I haven't answered that question, so thank you for asking. I don't think there's anything different, but let's go take a look. So those are your generals. That's work. That's study. Those are some covers. And then you've got a spot for custom if you want to upload your own to storage/note template, which is pretty nice. The ability to do that. But as far as standard templates, I'm not seeing anything new or particularly useful. Oh, hold on. There are multiple pages here. My apologies. So these are all oh, I didn't mean to do that. Looks lovely. That's exactly what we want. I prefer the grid, although could do with a better grid, but this will do. So that's grid, mats, horizontal, plan, what's in work, weekly plan, one set in study, and 2 sets in other. Does the cover add a lot more bulk and weight to the device? Weight, no. Thickness, a little bit, especially if you double it up. So if you put this underneath, which I don't recommend, it does make it a little bit thicker, but no, I think the cover is a nice inclusion. It's really nice. And I feel much more comfortable taking this on the go with me in the folio than by itself. Does the screen have a paper-like feel? To the extent any of these e-ink devices have a paper-like feel, it's like, yeah, feels good. I don't know how to answer that. It feels very similar to the Remarkable, maybe slightly less grippy, but yeah, feels pretty good. In what format can you save? Can we see the save prompt? Sure. So one, you don't really save. So like when you leave the document, it'll save. I assume you're referring to like sharing or exporting. So if you go to share, you can pick whichever pages you want. And then you would hit this button. And so you've got PNGs, vector-based PDFs, bitmap PDFs, and then, yeah, so here, and if I remember correctly, their vector-based PDFs are actually pretty good. So we can open this up in NeoReader and zoom in on it and see how it feels. So someone says it looks like the faux leather from the white Supernote. It's similar. The texture on this is much finer. So I would say that the Supernote feels closer to real leather, whereas this one feels extra faux, but feels good. All right, so now can we zoom in on this? Would you like pinch to zoom? Yeah, I'd like pinch to zoom. Yeah, so the vector-based PDF, it looks really good. It's pretty awesome. Really, really awesome. Like you can see the difference here between the bitmap-based template and the vector-based PDF. Quality is really, really good. How are fingerprints? Well, I've been using it for, how long have we been going for? Hour 45 minutes? Darn, we've gone for an hour 45 minutes. So, I mean, I should have picked up some fingerprints at this point. I mean, I got like some dirt on it down there somehow. But as far as fingerprints go, not really seeing a lot of fingerprints. Yeah. Does it have a dark mode option? Carlos, I don't know about battery life just because I literally just opened it, but I'll try and comment on that in the full review. I have 83%. I don't remember exactly what I started with. Probably wasn't 100, and I've been using it a good bit. Does it have dark mode? If it does, I don't know how to turn it on. That doesn't mean it doesn't have it. I just don't know how to turn it on. Better. And I would probably default to notes. I don't see dark mode. That doesn't mean it's not here. Drag down top right corner. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't see dark mode. Someone says go into settings. I'm in settings. Which settings? Yeah, I don't. Here we can check Ink Center. I don't think it's going to be in there, but no. This always throws me off, the fact that that takes it over and then there's no back button. And this is where you can set the Ink Center mode for each app. What's this do? Optimization guidance. We don't need to mess with that. Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's dark mode unless I'm missing something. Does this Dr. Grip pen work on the Supernote? How does it feel? I haven't used it on the Supernote. My guess is it would bog down on the Supernote. I feel like on the Supernote you really need a ceramic nib or else it doesn't feel good. So you'd have to swap out the insert, and at that point, probably not worth it. Also, the Supernote has the click pen that I really like. So I would probably just stick with the stock click pen. It's pretty good. How easy is it to see the screen without a front light? Does it need a lot of light to avoid eye strain? Compared to a Kaleido screen, no, it doesn't need a lot of light. You're not going to use this in the dark. You're not going to use it in the bed. But if you're at a typical desk in a normal room, you can see on it well. But like here, this is a Kaleido screen. Let's turn off the backlight, or front light rather. You can see how much darker a Kaleido screen is versus the black and white display. Yeah. So what Scott is saying is 100% correct about the SuperNote, which is all nibs work, but they don't necessarily feel pleasant to use. So the harder the tip of the stylus, the better it will be on the SuperNote. So usually titanium or ceramic. Ceramic's the typical one. But yeah, the Lamy with a palm tip can also work. If picking one, would you choose this or a SuperNote? Well, that's a nuanced question. I think that question gets a lot more complicated when the A5X2 comes out. This is the form factor I want. This is the size I want for how I use e-ink devices and the sketching and things that I do for design work. So the 10.3 is the size I want. Once the SuperNote comes out, then that gets challenging. I personally prefer a more rigid screen like this or like the Remarkable, but the software on the SuperNote's great. Quality of what they build is fantastic. All just comes down to your preferences for writing feel. This device was advertised with dark mode, but the promo pic showed it in Neo Reader. Might be app specific, probably. Ampere asks, would you switch from a Remarkable 2 to this? I don't know. It's going to take time. But I will use it and get a feel for what it's like to use. I think the fact that I can use the AI erase and I can turn all of the tooling off, that gives it a shot. It's got a very, very real chance to be able to replace the Remarkable 2. All right, that's probably a good place to start to wrap up. I want to say thank you to everyone who's come and hung out and asked great questions. It's a lot easier to do these things with you guys joining, so I really appreciate it. If you want to support the stuff that I'm doing, there's a handful of ways you can do it. If you do decide to buy a device like this, feel free to use the links that I put in the bottoms of my videos. I do get a small affiliate fee if you do buy it. With that said, if it doesn't work for you, don't buy it. Like, don't feel like you need to buy one of these things to support me. If you'd like to support the channel, I also have a Patreon where I share sort of insider things that I'm working on. The new app that I'm working on that I showed a glimpse of earlier. More of that on Patreon. Patreon users will get first access to that. Also, things that are kind of work in progress will go there before they come out here. So if you want to support my work and you want to get an insider's look and access to more stuff, Patreon's the way to do that. There's a link in the description for that. And yeah, just keep watching. I really appreciate you guys coming along. As far as the Boox Note 10.3, obviously they took a lot of influence from the Remarkable 2, but I think they added their own spin to it as well. It's smaller, it's got a lovely 300 pixel per inch screen, and it has a lot of capability because it's a Boox device and it can run all the apps that you want to run. So I think there's something really interesting here. I want to spend some more time with it. Hopefully it'll do some more firmware updates and I can actually use a keyboard with it. But overall, a really good showing and could have a lot of promise. So hold out for the full review. Because there's a lot of nuance in this that you just have to live with, and I can't get into every aspect of living with this device in 1 hour and 55 minutes. But that's kind of where we're at. So thanks again for watching. Talk to you guys all very soon. Have a great night. Cheers.